Buckley's got an opening. She kicks at the corner. Lininger for the win. Three-pointer! And the clock runs out! Flippin wins!
Hey, Joey. Dave, what's up? This is Coach Muscle, Arkansas Razorbacks. Hey, I know you guys are huge North Central Arkansas basketball fans.
44-40 right here at the Coliseum.
As the fans are storming the court, you expect that when it's a rivalry game.
I remember that for sure, and it was in the fifth set, and it was tight. Like, we were back and forth with Flippin, as we always do.
And it is put away! Keita's gonna take it to the house! Touchdown, Yellville!
Because we had crowd noise again. So we had to turn everything back up. So we're going to be
Alexander hits the winning shot!
And congratulations to the Flippin Bobcats. Hey everyone, this is the Loose Cannon, David McBee, and welcome to another exciting edition of TLSN Overtime. And of course, I'm joined by the one and only, the deal maker, Joey Shaw. Joey, so glad to have you back here on TLSN Overtime.
That's right, Dave. Back for episode 2. We got an exciting guest here today, David.
Yeah, very exciting guest. It's a guy that we got a chance to cover a lot of his games, especially senior girls volleyball. What a year it was for the Flippin' Lady Bobcats, the one and only senior girls volleyball and senior girls softball coach. He's had some big years this year. Coach Ryan Hargrove, glad to have you here on TLSN Overtime.
Glad to be here, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, and we're just
pleasure.
We're gonna just jump right in on this. Of course, this is a do-over. We tried doing it about a week ago. It was the night of when all those storms came through, and Joey had sirens going on, and we had internet issues, and we had the actual interview. We could hear you talking, but your face never changed the whole time. So we're like, we got to do it again. We wanted to actually see you talk. So we'll go and jump in our first question, Coach Hargrove. And as I mentioned earlier, small schools, a lot of the bigger schools are like, yeah, I coach. All I do is coach football. All I do is do this. In a smaller school, you have to coach a lot of times multiple sports. What all sports do you coach at Flippin, and how long have you been coaching that?
So this was my 4th year at Flippin. I originally started out as an assistant baseball coach, and halfway through the year had the opportunity to join the softball staff, and then was able to take that program over. And a year or two later, I was an assistant for the volleyball, and then this past year I took it over. So I'm the head coach for volleyball and softball. And when basketball gets in a pinch, I'll fill in for them if I need to, like they have 7th grade stuff. And so, seeing, especially like I said, at a small school, any opportunity we can to get those kids to play, I feel like I need to step up and do that if I can.
Absolutely. So, Coach, you must have been inspired by somebody or something to become a coach. Could you share with us maybe that story?
Yeah, I grew up in Viola, played at Viola. We had some really successful years there, and athletics was a big part of my life growing up. That's all I wanted to do as a kid, that and fishing. And I played for 2 really good guys, Dion Hargrove and Jeremy Lewis. They're 2 guys that have had really good careers. Coach Hargrove's still coaching, actually. And I think Coach Lewis is the superintendent at Highland, but those 2 guys had a very big impact on my time in athletics. And I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing without them today.
Well, you mentioned Coach Dion Hargrove. That was actually when we very first started out. We actually, before we became the Twin Lakes Sports Network and did live broadcasts, me and a friend of ours named Mike Hemme used to go around and interview coaches. And one of the first coaches we interviewed was Dion Hargrove over at Flippin. And it was a really good interview, and he was just a fantastic coach.
Yeah, he does a great job. He's done a great job for a long time. He's a pretty funny guy too.
Well, let's kind of jump in. This last year, Coach, we got a chance to cover one of the sports, your senior girls volleyball. Let's talk a little bit about volleyball, and then I'll let Joey kind of talk a little bit about softball, because Joey used to be a softball coach. So his nickname used to be, before he's the deal maker, he was Joey Softball. So I'll let him do all the softball questions. But volleyball, just a tremendous year. And, you guys ended up, going to state, being very competitive in state, winning championships that Flippin hadn't won in years. Also, really overcoming the last couple of years, the Cotter Warriors, the Lady Warriors were a team that was really a tough one to beat in that conference. But this year, especially, towards the end of the year, you guys got so much momentum and ended up taking them down and taking the championship.
Yeah. So the year before I was an assistant and we went to the state tournament and won a state playoff game for the first time in school history. And so hats off to Coach Jones and those players that year. I mean, that just kind of helped us springboard into this season. And I had the opportunity to take over the program, and I had a great group of kids I was used to being around most of them. So it was a smooth transition. And we opened up with Quitman, which is a very tough first game to open up with. You go to Quitman and try to beat them, who's a really good team that shared the conference with us. And like you said, kind of got hot at the end. Cotter had dominated this conference the last few years. They had a great run the last few years. And we get hot. We go start the district. Luckily, we get to host a district tournament at home. We start out by beating Salem, and then we go and get over that hump. We had 2 really good 5-set battles with Cotter. We beat them in 3 and then go on to win the finals over Quitman. We didn't lose a set in the district tournament. The girls, I mean, they just they knew they wanted to win it, and they played like they wanted to win it.
So, Coach, we know you do the volleyball. Let's talk a little bit about softball. You've had a pretty good season in softball. Tell us about your season so far.
Yeah, we've won the conference. Our conference is kind of small. There's only 4 of us with Cotter, Yellville, Decatur, and us. We have like 8, but most of the schools like Eureka and the Halls, they just have track. So that's our 3rd conference in a row, not counting the COVID years. So we won it in 19, skipped COVID in 21 and 22. So we'll go in next week district as the 1 seed. Cotter's the defending champs. They knocked us off. This will be our we'll be in the finals for the 3rd straight year, which I think is a good accomplishment for those seniors.
Absolutely. Speaking of seniors, Coach, you've got several seniors this year. Can you share with us maybe some memories and moments with the graduating class?
Well, yeah, I'll just start in volleyball with those girls. We've got Maddie Hobson, Sydney Wire, Jessie Stem, and Abby Lee Hooker. And just to go into that district tournament and win that district tournament, especially at home, that was just a thrill for them, especially like Maddie. She gets to continue her career at Line, which was great for her. And she's just such a competitor, and just to see the joy on especially her face when we won that district tournament. I mean, it was just like all the work she's put in all these years finally paid off. And I have Abby Lee also, and Maddie plays softball too, but Abby Lee's played all 4 years in softball for me. She was the first freshman class when I got here, so it's kind of bittersweet. This will be the first 4-year class that's graduating, and so she's played softball, started every year since she was a freshman. I mean, and she really loves it, and they've won 54 games in their career, and that's including the year where we got scratched with COVID. So, I mean, I have lots of great memories with that. I mean, just being able to do what we've done and just see them battle back, especially after the adversity of losing a season, which is tough on high school kids. And hopefully we can win another district championship next week.
Well, Coach, you mentioned, the seniors, and we're excited. Like you mentioned, Maddie Hobson. I think back, that smile in the championship game. Was it Quitman you guys were playing in the? I'm trying to remember what school you ended up in the finals with.
It was Quitman.
But the entire match, I remember, and I might have said this on commentary, but she had a grin every single play, and just did a tremendous job. Excited, to see her career go on. And speaking of teams in the future, there's some changes coming next year with your conference. What's your thoughts on the upcoming conference changes for next year?
Yeah, we're moving up to 3A, which it's going to be 2A was pretty good, but there's some stiffer competition in 3A. And with volleyball, it's not the same as basketball. They've kind of got less teams, so it's kind of more spread out. So we've got the likes of Harding Academy down there in Searcy, and picking up Adkins over by Russellville. And so it's just, it's in Dover. Those are all 3 schools that went and won a game in the 3A state tournament. So it's not going to be no easy task. I mean, I really think with the group we got coming back, we can compete in that conference, but it's going to be a tough hill to climb.
Coach, besides sports, let's talk about the world of professional wrestling. As we know, you're a big fan, WWE, NWA. So let's talk a little bit about wrestling. How about Dave? How about some mid-state?
Well, Coach Hargrove, you got a chance to join us at Mid-States Wrestling over in Harrison. Got to tell us your thoughts on that, and then also, who did you kind of follow growing up? Pro wrestling.
Yeah, thank you guys for hooking me up with those tickets. Took me one of my buddies, James, and he's a big wrestling fan too. I thought it was a lot of fun. I think Space Cowboy, he puts on a great show over there. That's got to be one of the better shows on the indie circuit. I've been to quite a few. If there's one I'll go to it. Actually, we went to a Comic-Con to see Sting back in September, and they were handing out flyers, and they were having some I think it's the Chaotic Wrestling Kingdom, something like that, and they had that little show that night, and we just went to it. It was just in a little garage, and it was awesome. One of the guys is actually in AEW now, DJ Brown, I think, maybe.
Yeah. So tell us some of the wrestlers during your time that you've enjoyed watching the most.
Oh, my favorite all time has got to be Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Oh,
he's just a blue collar tough guy. Was a football player, and it's just hard not to like him. He's a good character, and Sting was my second favorite.
Yeah, Sting was one of my favorites, and Hacksaw, he's always carrying out the 2x4 with the American flag. There's nothing that spelled American more than Hacksaw Jim Duggan, that's for sure.
You think I'd get away with carrying a 2x4 at third base or on the bench at volleyball?
That'd be a sight to see, wouldn't it, Dave? And then before we get moving on, I got to bring up something. Your hat there, I really envy that hat. I'm a fellow Braves fan myself, so what do you think about next year, Atlanta Braves? They got a chance to win the World Series again?
I don't see why not. We got most of the team back. We lost Freddie Freeman, which was a little bit broke my heart a little bit because he was my favorite player on the team, but that stuff happened. Matt Olson's a great pickup. Heck, we won it without Ron Acuna and Marcell Ozuna. So, until somebody beats us, we're the champs. That's right.
Well, Coach, before we get to our rapid fire, you have something in common with the Twin Lakes Sports Network. You do a lot of streaming and coverage of games. We've gotten a chance to watch your games, when you were covering state tournament and different things like that for different sports. As a person who, I got to do the play-by-play a lot of time all by myself at night. And that's a long day doing, game after game. Kind of tell us your thoughts of doing the play-by-play, because you do a tremendous job over there.
Well, I appreciate that. You guys do a great job as well. The opportunity just presented itself a couple of years ago. They needed somebody to do it. And I didn't think I was going to be very good at it or not, but I wanted to do it just to give the opportunity for those kids. And it's a lot of fun. It can be really tough to do it by yourself sometimes, especially like you said, it can be a long night. But I really enjoy it. If I wasn't coaching, if I could break into something like that would be a lot of fun.
So the question is now, when are we going to have the Loose Cannon join forces with the Hammer, Ryan the Hammer Hargrove, to form the ultimate tag team right there? And then also with the Deal Maker. We'll be like the Freebirds.
Hey, as soon as we can make it happen, as soon as you get a schedule, we'll make it happen the first game if you want to.
Yeah, we got to get you away from that scoreboard. They keep getting you down working that scoreboard. I was like, I need someone up there to talk to, man. We'd love to have you join us up there.
I asked Coach Greenhall for a night off, I guess.
All right, Dave, I think it's time. Time to get into our rapid fire questions here, Coach. Are you ready?
You bet.
All right. So first question, hopefully this is an easy one, not too tough, but if you could be any superhero for a day, who would you be and what would you do with those superpowers? Two-part question there.
And what would I do with the the powers for a day. Let's see. I guess I'll just say Superman, because he's pretty invincible, and I would do my best to do something good in the world.
All right. KFC or Popeyes?
KFC.
All right. We know there's not much that rattles you. We know you're not scared of much of anything, but there's got to be something that you're not telling people about that you're afraid of. So tell the world what scares you.
Well, I'm not a big fan of snakes. That be probably more than anything. Or when Cheyenne Merkel's up to bat and there's a foul ball hitting my general direction at third base.
There's where you might need that 2x4 down at third base.
Yeah, exactly right.
All right. So what's the last show you've been watched?
Better Call Saul.
All right. And the last one, told you these are easy. Is cereal a soup? Why or why not?
We're going to go with yes, because it's liquid food.
There we go.
Yeah, last year it was, is cheesecake a cake or a pie? So we always got to end on some type of food. So now, Coach, you mentioned softball. You know, you guys getting ready to go off a district tournament. Where's district going to be at?
Zach Cotter.
Okay.
Both baseball and softball was there next week.
Okay. Well, we want to wish you the best in your district tournament, and then, you know, going on past that as well. And you've been a privilege to cover. We've enjoyed covering you, and you know, appreciate over Flippin too. We got to give shout outs. The tournaments we did this last year, from the concession stand food. I mean, the Flippin concession stand's epic. I think it's the Bobcat burger. It's got the burgers and then the pulled pork and all that on it. That's probably the best concession stand burger I've ever
So
had.
good.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Jimmy Lane does a great job. I mean, I don't know if there's a concession stand around that can beat it.
I mean, it's we've gotten in trouble because other schools are like, what do you mean? You're always going off about Flippin's concession. But yeah, you guys bring it, and just great hospitality on the tournament. You guys always take care of us, and we really appreciate it. So
I do my best to try to hook you guys up. You do a lot for us and cover those kids, and can't thank you enough for that.
Well, Joey, I'll let you do the closeout.
Oh, Coach, again, we just want to thank you for joining us here on TLSN Overtime. We appreciate you taking a little bit of your evening. We know time is valuable, and we appreciate you taking a little bit to spend it here with us.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Thanks for having me. I always enjoy it. I always enjoy listening to y'all's broadcast, and anytime we get to hang around you guys, it's awesome.
And we'll have to hook you up with some more mid-state wrestling tickets in the future. Some big shows coming up pretty soon. So
absolutely.
And want to appreciate everyone for tuning in and joining us. Again, thank you, Coach Hargrove. And for all of us at the Twin Lakes Sports Network, go out and do something nice for someone. And remember, your tomorrows are never guaranteed. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week right here on TLSN Overtime.
Rackley's got an opening. She kicks at the corner. Lininger for the win. Three-pointer! And the clock runs out! Flippin wins!
Hey, Joey. Dave, what's up? This is Coach Muscle, Arkansas Razorbacks. And I know you guys are huge North Central Arkansas basketball fans.
44-40 right here at the Coliseum. As the fans are storming the court, you expect that when it's a rivalry game.
I remember that for sure, and it was in the fifth set, and it was tight. Like, we were back and forth with Flippin, as we always do.
And it is put away! Keita's gonna take it to the house! Touchdown, Yellville!
Because we had crowd noise again. So we had to turn everything back up. So we're going to be Alexander.
Alexander hits the winning shot! And congratulations to the Flippin Bobcats.